The 2025 State of React Native survey just dropped, and it points a very clear picture of where we are right now. 80% of the ecosystem has either moved to the new architecture or is actively doing so. The legacy ways of building and shipping are definitively being replaced by heavy automation and tighter native integration. In this breakdown, I will walk you through the numbers that actually matter and what they signal for your tooling choices this year. The new architecture is no longer early adopter territory, it is the absolute baseline. The reason is tooling. Libraries and the broader ecosystems are targeting the new architecture exclusively, leaving legacy support behind to solve long-standing bottlenecks like debugging and core performance. 80% of respondents have already adopted the new architecture or are making the switch, but the real shift ain't the architecture itself, it's the ecosystem unlocking its potential. We are seeing a massive consolidation around tools like Nitro modules, which bypass runtime type checks entirely using statically compiled bindings. When your native calls go from 115 milliseconds down to 7 milliseconds, libraries like Vision Camera and MMKV are the well-established solution built on top of it. The real takeaway here isn't that you need to migrate, most of you already have, it's that the API constraints are gone. The bridge is retired and library authors are now entirely focused on pushing native performance forward. React Native continues to heavily favor lean teams leveraging cross-platform efficiency. The complexity of shipping to multiple platforms hasn't disappeared, but the framework enables small groups to punch above their weight class by sharing a single code base. 33% of respondents are solo developers, another 29 operate in teams of 3 to 5. Meanwhile, platform targets remain clear. 96 target Android, 93 target iOS. Interestingly, 24 of teams are now actively targeting the web, utilizing shared logic. You don't need a massive team to ship. A handful of engineers with the right stack can confidently cover iOS, Android, and increasingly the web. Release pipelines have evolved fast. Scattered custom-built scripts are being replaced by integrated end-to-end setups. Teams no longer want the friction of maintaining complex configurations. They want fewer failure points between their code and the App Store. EAS build dominates the 68% usage, with EAS submit at 54%, but most notable shift is in GitHub Actions, entering the 62% adoption essentially overnight. CI/CD ain't nice to have anymore, and looking ahead, EAS Workflows is the fastest growing tool here. Usage nearly tripled. The community is investing time on custom Fastlane setups. The same convergence is happening on the UI side. Teams are actively moving away from raw style sheet configurations to handle design systems and animation separately. For layouts and theming, while 90% of developers still use the style sheet API as a baseline, the complexity of cross-platform design has pushed developers toward predefined utility frameworks. Utility-based styling is taking massive chunks of the ecosystem. Native Wind sits at 42%, while Unistyles is climbing fast at 29%. For animations, Reanimated has won completely. It is now effectively infrastructure, sitting at a massive 93% usage. The era of maintaining massive custom theme objects. While the core framework is highly stable, the real friction developers feel today is entirely at integration boundaries. Because the baseline architecture is solid, development teams are leaking the most time fighting with third-party APIs and complex state configuration. The survey highlights very specific bottlenecks. For platform APIs, developers are constantly fighting with Android-specific issues, reliable notifications, and background processing. In navigation, the friction comes from export outer typing and handling complex stack behaviors. In styling, light and dark theme consistency used to be a massive headache for teams building it from scratch, but modern solutions like Uniwin and Unistyles are actively bridging the gap because they are incredibly performant and highly customizable. Finally, debugging remains a massive issue. Instead of one unified tool, developers are dealing with scattered browser tabs and terminals. This is exactly why the ecosystem is starting to rally behind Rosinite. It's a plug-and-play framework created by CallStack that brings network inspection, stack query, MMKV, performance monitoring, and more directly back into the native React Native dev tools. One unified panel, zero extra browser tabs. React Native is stronger than ever. The actual competitive edge for your team isn't framework knowledge, it's mastering these specific integration boundaries. React Native today is a mature, opinionated stack. The new architecture is the baseline, and automated release pipelines are the standard. For the full breakdown, check the survey link in description. Hope you found this helpful. I share regular updates in the Candies Ocean newsletter. For a hands-on learning experience, check out React Native Candies at courses.candiesocean.com. I'll pin the link.
description.